This reading is coming from the Cestui Que Act 1666. At the top it says changes to legislation. There are currently no known outstanding effects for the Cestui Que Act 1666. See end of document for details. 1666, chapter 11, 18, and 19. Chatu. An act for redress of inconveniencies by want of proof of the deceases of persons beyond the seas or absenting themselves upon whose lives estates do depend. Recital that Cestui Que has gone beyond sea and that reversioners cannot find out whether they are alive or dead. Whereas diverse lords of manors and others have granted estates by lease or one or more life or lives or else for years determinable upon one or more life or lives, and it has often happened that such person or persons for whose life or lives such estates have been granted have gone beyond the seas or so absent themselves for many years that the leaseors and reversioners cannot find out whether such person or persons be alive or dead. By reason thereof such leaseors and reversioners have been held out of possession of their tenements for many years after all their lives, upon which such estates depend, are dead, in regard that the leaseors and reversioners, when they have brought actions for the recovery of their tenements, have been put upon it to prove the death of their tenants, when it is almost impossible for them to discover the same, for remedy of which mischief so frequently happening to such leasers and reversioners. I'm not gonna read this. I'm gonna just, one Cestui V remaining beyond sea for 7 years together and no proof of their lives. Judge in action to direct the verdict as though Cestui Que were dead. If such person or persons for whose life or lives such estates have been or shall be granted as foresaid shall remain beyond the seas or elsewhere, absent themselves in the realm by the space of 7 years together, and no sufficient or evident proof be made of their lives, of the lives of such person or persons respectively, in any action commenced for recovery of such tenements by the leasers or reversioners. In every such case, the person or persons upon whose life or lives such estate depended shall be accounted as naturally dead, and in every action brought for the recovery of the said tenements by the leasers and reversioners, their heirs and assigns, the judges before whom such action shall be brought shall direct the jury to give their verdict as if the person so remained beyond the seas and otherwise absenting himself were dead. It say annotation 2 is go to F here. Statute Law Reversion Act of 1948, Chapter 62, Schedule 1. And then 3, F2 here. S3, repealed by Statute Law Reversion Act 1863, Chapter 125. 4. If the supposed dead man proves to be alive, then the title is revested, action for mean profit and interest, provided always that if any person or persons shall be evicted out of any lands or tenements by virtue of this act, and afterwards, if such person or persons upon whose life or lives such estate or estates depend shall return again beyond the seas, or shall on profit in any action to be brought for recovery of the same to be made appear to be living or to have been living at the same time of the eviction, that then and from henceforth the tenant or lessee who has outed of the same his or their executors, administrators, or assigned shall or may re-enter, repossess, have hold, or enjoy the said lands and tenements of his or their former estate for or during the life or lives or so long term as the said person or persons upon whose life or lives the said estate or estates depend shall be living, and also shall appoint action or actions to be brought by him or them against the leaseors, reversioners, or tenants in possession or other persons respectively, which since the time of the said eviction received the profits of the said lands and tenements, recover for damages the full profits of the said lands and tenements respectively, with lawful interest for and from the time that he or they were outed of the said lands or tenements, and kept or held out of the same by the said leaseors, reversioners, tenants, or other persons who after the said eviction received the profits of the said lands or tenements, or any of them respectively, as well in the case when the said person or persons upon whose life or lives such estate or estates did depend or shall be dead at the time of being of the said action or actions, as if the said person or persons were then alive. Annotation: editorial information X2 annotated to the original act in a separate schedule. X3 variant reading of the text noted in the statute of the realm as follows. O omits. O refers to a collection in the library of Trinity College, Cambridge.